In the gentle glow of a quiet bamboo forest, where the moon painted silver patterns on the leaves, a little panda named Pippa sat by her favorite rock with a thoughtful look on her round face. The night air was cool, filled with the soft rustle of bamboo swaying, and the sound of a distant stream bubbling like a lullaby. Pippa hugged a small wooden box she had been working on all day. Inside it, carefully wrapped with bits of soft cloth and tied with a ribbon of grass, was something she called her kindness package. Pippa loved her forest and all her friends who lived within it, the birds who sang in the morning, the rabbits who hopped playfully in the meadows, and the hedgehog who always had the coziest stories at night. She had been thinking lately about how nice it would be to give a gift, not for a birthday, not for a special occasion, but simply to make someone smile. She wanted her kindness to travel, to be passed along from one friend to another, spreading warmth through the forest like sunlight through bamboo leaves. The little panda had filled the box with small treasures she had found on her walks. There was a smooth pebble shaped like a heart, polished by the river. There was a piece of fragrant bamboo leaf, curled into a tiny scroll. She tucked in a tiny bell made of shells that jingled gently when the box moved, and at the very top, she placed a note written on a wide bamboo leaf. In her neat little writing, she had written, "This is for you, from a friend. May it bring a smile. Please pass it on when your heart is ready." She tied the ribbon of grass snugly around the box, then held it close to her chest. The forest around her seemed to pause, as though waiting to see where the little panda's kindness would go first. Pippa's round black ears twitched as she thought carefully. She didn't want to simply give it to the first animal she met, she wanted it to reach someone who needed a little extra cheer tonight. The fireflies began to drift lazily between the bamboo stalks, glowing like floating lanterns. Pippa took that as a sign, it was time to begin her journey. With her kindness package tucked carefully in her paws, she padded softly through the bamboo grove, her steps light, her heart warm. The moon above followed her through the treetops, as if it, too, wanted to see where the package would travel. Pippa walked quietly through the bamboo grove, her little paws pressing softly into the damp earth. The ribbon on her package swayed as she carried it, jingling faintly with the sound of the tiny seashell bell tucked inside. The forest felt alive around her, as though every leaf and firefly wanted to see what she would do next. The moonlight streamed down through the tall bamboo stalks in thin silver beams, lighting her way. She thought carefully about her friends. The rabbits were cheerful, always bounding about with endless energy. The birds sang bright songs, and the hedgehog often told cozy stories by the stream. But then her round ears twitched, she remembered someone else. A little red squirrel named Luma, who lived high in the branches near the far edge of the grove. Luma was often cheerful during the day, but at night Pippa sometimes saw her sitting quietly, hugging her fluffy tail, looking just a little lonely. Perhaps she would smile if she received the kindness package first. With her heart set, Pippa padded down the path toward Luma's tree. The journey was peaceful. Along the way, she passed a family of crickets chirping softly in the grass, their song blending with the rhythm of the bubbling stream nearby. She stopped for a moment to listen, swaying gently with the melody. "Even the crickets are singing goodnight wishes," she whispered. The package jingled faintly, almost as if agreeing. When she reached the stream, the moonlight shimmered on the water's ripples like scattered stars. Pippa carefully balanced on a stepping stone to cross. She held the package close to her chest, not wanting even one drop to touch it. A frog croaked softly from a nearby lily pad, and Pippa smiled. "This little gift is going to travel," she told him, "and maybe it will bring joy to you one day too." The frog blinked his wide eyes and gave another croak that sounded almost like approval. The trees grew taller as Pippa climbed the slope toward Luma's home. She could see the squirrel's nest tucked safely between the high branches, lined with moss and feathers. Fireflies floated near the trunk, their glow lighting the bark like lanterns. Pippa tilted her head and called softly, "Luma? Are you awake?" There was a rustle above, and soon Luma's small face peeked out, her eyes wide and curious. "Pippa? What are you doing here so late?" she asked, her voice quiet so as not to disturb the sleeping forest. "I brought something," Pippa said, holding the package up with both paws. "It's a kindness package. I made it for someone who might need a little cheer tonight. And I thought of you." Luma's eyes widened further as she scrambled down the trunk, her fluffy tail streaming behind her. She landed gracefully in front of Pippa and looked at the box with awe. "For me," she whispered. Pippa nodded, her black and white face glowing with a shy smile. "It's not a big gift, but inside are small treasures that made me think of happiness. There's even a note, but the best part is, it's meant to keep traveling. When you feel ready, you can pass it to someone else. That way the kindness doesn't stop with just you. It keeps moving." Luma's paws trembled as she accepted the little box. She untied the grass ribbon slowly, lifting the lid with care. When she saw the treasures inside, the heart-shaped pebble, the curled bamboo leaf, the tiny seashell bell, her eyes sparkled. She pressed the note gently to her chest, whispering, "I've never received a gift like this before." Pippa's heart warmed as she watched her friend smile. The squirrel looked happier than she had in many nights. She jingled the little shell bell softly and giggled. "It sounds like a star laughing," she said. Then she turned back to Pippa and hugged her tightly. "Thank you. You filled my heart tonight." Pippa hugged her back, feeling her fur soft and warm against the cool night air. She whispered, "Promise you'll pass it on when the time feels right. I want the kindness to keep spreading." Luma nodded eagerly. "I promise." She cradled the box close, her fluffy tail curling protectively around it, as if she already knew how precious it would be to others. Together, the panda and the squirrel sat beneath the tall tree, listening to the rain of bamboo leaves rustling gently in the night breeze. The fireflies floated around them, glowing brighter, as if celebrating the beginning of the kindness package's journey. Luma kept the little package close to her nest that night, the seashell bell jingling faintly whenever she shifted it between her paws. The glow of the fireflies outside her tree flickered against the bark, making the package look as though it was glowing from within. She couldn't stop peeking at it, lifting the lid again and again just to feel the warmth of the treasures inside, the smooth pebble, the curled bamboo leaf, the note written in Pippa's gentle writing. Each time she looked, her heart filled with the same thought, "I was remembered. I was chosen." But Pippa's words echoed in her mind. "When you feel ready, pass it on." Luma knew the package wasn't meant to stay with her. It was meant to travel, to sprinkle its kindness like seeds carried on the wind. She curled her fluffy tail around herself and thought carefully. Who in the forest could use a smile tonight? The next morning, the sun rose in pale gold stripes between the bamboo stalks, but Luma was already wide awake, hugging the package. She scampered down from her tree and padded across the dew-damp grass, her little paws leaving tiny prints. The forest was waking too, the birds were beginning their morning songs, and rabbits hopped quietly near the meadow, their ears flicking with curiosity. Luma's eyes fell on the stream where the hedgehog, Ollie, often sat. He was older than many of the animals, gentle but quiet, his spines tipped with silver from age. He was known for telling stories at dusk, but lately, Luma had noticed that Ollie sometimes sat alone, staring at the water, his eyes thoughtful and just a little sad. Perhaps he carried stories too heavy to share. "Yes," Luma whispered, clutching the box. "It's his turn." She hurried toward the stream, where Ollie was already sitting under a mossy rock ledge, the water bubbling softly beside him. He looked up slowly when he heard her pause, his small eyes kind but tired. "Good morning, little one," he said, his voice rough but warm. "What brings you here so early?" Luma held the package forward with both paws, her tail flicking nervously. "This is for you," she said softly. "Pippa made it. It's called a kindness package. She gave it to me last night, and I promised I'd pass it on when it felt right. And now, I think you should have it." Ollie blinked, his nose twitching. Carefully, he reached out with his tiny claws and accepted the box. His paws trembled slightly as he untied the ribbon of grass and lifted the lid. The treasures inside seemed to glow in the morning sun. He touched the heart-shaped pebble with care, held the bamboo scroll to his cheek, and gave the seashell bell a soft shake. Its jingling note echoed across the stream like a spark of laughter. Then he picked up the note. He squinted, reading slowly, and when he finished, his spines bristled just a little, not in alarm but in emotion. "This is for you, from a friend. May it bring a smile. Please pass it on when your heart is ready." His voice wavered as he repeated the words. Luma's ears perked. "Do you like it?" Ollie closed the box slowly, pressing his paw against the lid. "I do, little one. Very much. It feels like being wrapped in sunlight. I didn't know anyone remembered me like this." His eyes glistened, though he blinked quickly to hide it. "Pippa has always had a gentle heart. And now you do too, for sharing it." He set the box down beside him, and his smile stretched wider than it had in many moons. "Would you like to hear a story?" he asked. Luma's tail flicked happily. "Always." So Ollie began to speak. But this time, his story wasn't about faraway lands or imaginary creatures. It was about himself, about the first time he had seen the stars reflected in the stream as a young hedgehog, and how he had promised to never forget the forest's beauty. His voice grew stronger as he spoke, and the package sat between them like a glowing lantern, its little treasures listening too. When the story ended, Ollie reached for the box again and closed it gently. He looked at Luma with kind, steady eyes. "I'll keep it for today. Tonight, when the moon rises, I'll pass it to someone else. The kindness shouldn't sleep in one place too long, it must keep traveling." Luma nodded eagerly, her chest warm. She hugged him briefly, her fluffy tail wrapping around his side. "I'm glad I gave it to you," she whispered. As she scampered back into the trees, she glanced over her shoulder. Ollie sat a little taller now, the package nestled safely beside him, his face brighter than she had ever seen it. The forest seemed to hum with approval, the leaves rustling, the stream bubbling louder, the birds singing sweeter. The kindness package was traveling, and with every step it took, it was leaving trails of warmth behind. That evening, when the sun slid low and the bamboo shadows stretched long and soft, Ollie the hedgehog sat once more by the stream with the kindness package beside him. The little seashell bell inside chimed now and then when the breeze rustled the grass, and each sound made his heart feel lighter. All day, animals had stopped to greet him, and Ollie found himself smiling more often, telling more stories, and feeling less of the heaviness that had weighed him down for so long. But Pippa's words, passed along through Luma, echoed in his mind, "Please pass it on when your heart is ready." Ollie had enjoyed the gift, treasured it even, but he knew the package wasn't meant to stay with him. It was a traveler, and now it was time for him to choose where it would go next. The forest quieted as twilight deepened, and one by one, fireflies began to glow among the reeds. Ollie tucked the package gently under his arm and waddled along the stream path. His spines caught bits of starlight as he walked, and he hummed the seashell bell's melody under his breath. He thought carefully about who might need the gift now. He passed the rabbit's meadow, where the young ones chased each other in the fading light. Their laughter was bright, and Ollie smiled, but they already had joy tumbling around them. He passed beneath the tall pines where owls blinked down, wise and content in their high perches. They seemed steady, peaceful, not in need of extra cheer. Then he remembered someone. At the far edge of the forest, near the rocky hill, lived a small badger named Bram. Bram was gentle, kind-hearted, but often shy. He rarely came to gatherings in the meadow or to hear Ollie's stories. Some nights, Ollie had seen him sitting alone by the hill, tracing patterns in the dirt with his claws, looking as though he wished he belonged but wasn't sure how. "Yes," Ollie whispered into the dusk. "It should be Bram." The walk was long, but Ollie didn't mind. The kindness package felt warm against him, as though it approved of his choice. Crickets chirped along the path, and the air smelled of damp earth and wildflowers settling into night. Finally, he reached the rocky hill. Sure enough, there sat Bram, his dark and white fur gleaming faintly in the moonlight. He was doodling shapes into the dirt with one claw, his head bowed low. Ollie cleared his throat softly so as not to startle him. "Evening, Bram." The badger looked up, his eyes wide in surprise. "Ollie? You came all the way out here?" Ollie waddled closer and set the little box in front of him. "I brought something for you." Bram tilted his head, blinking in confusion. "For me?" "Yes," Ollie said kindly. "It's called a kindness package. Pippa the Panda made it, then gave it to Luma the squirrel, who passed it on to me. Now it's my turn to share it. And I thought of you." Slowly, Bram reached for the package, his claws gentle as he untied the ribbon of grass. The lid opened, and his eyes glistened as he gazed at the treasures inside, the heart-shaped pebble, the curled bamboo leaf, the seashell bell. He picked up the note, reading it carefully in the soft glow of the fireflies. His mouth curved into the smallest smile, shy and warm. "This is for you, from a friend. May it bring a smile. Please pass it on when your heart is ready." The words seemed to sink straight into him. Bram clutched the note to his chest, his voice hushed. "No one's ever given me something like this." Ollie settled down beside him, his spines brushing lightly against Bram's fur. "That's the beauty of it, my boy. It isn't just a gift, it's a chain of kindness. It keeps moving, touching hearts one after another. And tonight, it found yours." Bram shook the little seashell bell, and its gentle chime made him laugh softly. He held the pebble up to the moonlight, marveling at its smooth shape. "It feels like the forest remembered me," he whispered. Ollie smiled. "Because it did. Because we did." The two sat quietly for a long while, the package nestled between them, the night sounds surrounding them like a lullaby. For the first time, Bram felt as though the forest's story included him. The weight of loneliness eased, replaced by the warmth of belonging. As the stars brightened overhead, Bram closed the box carefully and hugged it to his chest. "I'll keep it safe tonight," he said, his voice steady but soft. "And when the moment comes, I'll pass it on. I promise." Ollie patted his paw gently. "That's all it asks of you." The forest around them seemed to glow brighter, the fireflies swirling in slow circles, as if celebrating the kindness that had once again found a new home. Bram the badger held the kindness package close all through the night, curled up in his burrow beneath the rocky hill. The seashell bell jingled now and then as he shifted, each sound like a soft reminder that he was part of something bigger than himself. For the first time in many nights, Bram did not feel lonely. The package sat by his side like a glowing lantern, warming the quiet corners of his heart. When dawn came and golden light filtered through the cracks in his burrow, Bram stretched and touched the ribbon of grass tied neatly around the box. He remembered Ollie's gentle words, "It isn't just a gift, it's a chain of kindness. It keeps moving." Bram knew today it was his turn to choose. He sat outside his burrow for a while, watching the forest wake. Birds chirped their bright morning songs. Rabbits bounded through the meadows, their ears tipped with dew. The breeze smelled of honeyed clover and wet earth. Bram thought carefully. He could keep the box for a little longer, it was tempting, but he knew that wouldn't be right. The package wasn't meant to stay with one creature. It needed to travel. So he asked himself, who might need a smile today? He thought of the deer family, but they had each other. He thought of the fox twins, but they were playful and always laughing. Then his mind wandered to the pond at the forest's center, where a shy little duck named Tilly lived. She often swam alone, quacking softly to herself. The other ducks were friendly, but Tilly was quiet, timid, and easily overlooked. Bram had seen her paddling in circles, watching the ripples fade, looking as though she was wishing for someone to notice her. Yes, Bram whispered, his heart steady. Tilly. With the package tucked carefully against his chest, Bram waddled through the forest. The path was long, but the package seemed to lighten his steps. Along the way, he passed Pippa the panda resting beneath the bamboo. She smiled when she saw the box. It's still moving, she said warmly, her round face glowing. Bram nodded with a shy smile. I'm taking it to Tilly, he replied. Pippa's eyes sparkled. Perfect. By midday, Bram reached the pond. The water shimmered under the sun, dragonflies darting across its surface. There, near the reeds, floated Tilly. She dipped her beak into the water and let it drip down again, humming softly to herself. Bram cleared his throat. Hello, Tilly. The duck lifted her head, surprised. Oh, hello, Bram. I didn't expect anyone to visit. Bram stepped carefully to the water's edge and set the little box down on the grass. I brought you something. Tilly tilted her head, blinking in curiosity. She paddled closer and stepped onto the shore. For me? Yes, Bram said softly. It's called a kindness package. Pippa made it, Luma passed it to Ollie, Ollie gave it to me. And now it's yours. The duck's feathers ruffled as she leaned close. With careful wings, she untied the ribbon of grass and opened the lid. Inside, the treasures gleamed, the heart-shaped pebble, the curled bamboo leaf, the seashell bell. She picked up the note, reading slowly. This is for you, from a friend. May it bring a smile. Please pass it on when your heart is ready. Her beak trembled as she whispered, no one has ever given me something like this. Bram sat beside her, his paws resting gently in his lap. That's what I thought, too. But then I realized it isn't just a gift, it's a reminder. You are part of this forest story. You belong. Tilly touched the pebble with her wingtip, marveling at its smoothness. She shook the seashell bell, and its tiny chime echoed across the pond, so sweet that the dragonflies paused mid-flight. A smile spread across her beak, small but radiant. It feels like the pond is singing to me, she said. That's the magic of it, Bram replied. The two sat quietly together, the package nestled between them. For once, Tilly didn't feel small or forgotten. She felt noticed, included, and important. She hugged the note close to her feathers, whispering, thank you. As the sun began to set, painting the pond in pink and gold, Tilly closed the box carefully. I'll keep it safe tonight, she said, her voice soft but steady. And tomorrow, I'll find someone else who needs it. Bram smiled, his eyes glistening. That's all it asks of us. The ripples on the pond sparkled as the fireflies returned, glowing brighter in the twilight. The kindness package had traveled once more, weaving its gentle thread of friendship further through the forest. Tilly the duck cradled the kindness package through the night, keeping it tucked beside her nest in the reeds. The seashell bell chimed gently each time the wind shifted, and she would look at the box and smile, her heart fuller than it had ever been. The note, folded neatly beside her, felt like a little lantern glowing in her feathers. For the first time, she didn't feel like a small, quiet duck hidden in the shadows of the pond. She felt part of something bigger, something beautiful. When dawn painted the water gold, Tilly woke with a new thought. The package cannot stay with me forever. It must travel, just as Pippa wished. She pressed the lid closed once more and tied the grass ribbon carefully. Her reflection on the pond rippled softly as she whispered, who should smile today? The answer came quickly. Across the pond lived a little mouse named Pip, who always worked hard gathering seeds and nuts but rarely played. Pip's whiskers drooped often, his tiny paws full of chores, his eyes always busy but rarely bright. Tilly knew, with all her heart, that Pip needed to feel remembered. With the package balanced gently on her back, Tilly paddled across the pond and waddled up the grassy bank to Pip's burrow. The mouse poked his head out, surprised to see her. Tilly? What brings you here so early? I brought this for you, she said softly, setting the package in front of him. It's called a kindness package. Pippa began it, and it has traveled from paws to paws, heart to heart. Now it's your turn. Pip's eyes widened as he untied the ribbon and peeked inside. The treasures glowed softly in the morning light, the heart-shaped pebble, the curled bamboo leaf, the seashell bell. He picked up the note with trembling paws and read the words aloud, his squeaky voice hushed. This is for you, from a friend. May it bring a smile. Please pass it on when your heart is ready. The little mouse's whiskers quivered. No one has ever given me something just to make me smile, he whispered. Then he jingled the tiny bell and laughed, a sound so light and sweet that it startled even him. His laughter spilled into the air like music, and Tilly's heart lifted. Keep it safe tonight, Tilly said gently. And when you feel ready, pass it along. That's how the kindness grows. Pip nodded eagerly. I will. He hugged the box to his chest, his tail curling tightly around it as though he already knew how precious it was. And so the package traveled again. Pip kept it close that evening, and by the next day, he knew exactly where it should go, to a shy fawn who often wandered near the meadow's edge but never dared to join the games of the rabbits. When the fawn opened the box and read the note, her eyes sparkled with tears, and she whispered, "It feels like someone reached into my heart and left a light." From there, the package went on to the owl who sometimes felt too wise and too distant to be part of the other's laughter. Then it traveled to the fox twins, who learned that even those full of mischief needed moments of kindness. The squirrels, the deer, the frogs, the crickets, all, one by one, opened the little wooden box, listened to the seashell bell, touched the smooth heart pebble, and read the note. Each time, their hearts grew softer, fuller, brighter. Each time, the forest glowed a little warmer. Finally, one golden evening, the kindness package returned full circle. Pip the mouse carried it carefully back through the bamboo grove and set it down in front of Pippa, who was resting on her favorite rock beneath the moonlight. For me? Pippa asked in surprise, her round eyes wide. Yes, Pip squeaked happily. It traveled the whole forest. It made everyone smile. And now it's back to the one who began it. Pippa untied the ribbon slowly, her paws trembling. When she saw the treasures again, she gasped softly. They were the same, but somehow different. The pebble was shinier from so many paws holding it. The bamboo leaf smelled richer from so many hearts cherishing it. The seashell bell rang clearer, as though it had collected laughter along the way. And tucked inside was something new, a second note. She opened it, and her eyes filled with tears. The words were simple, written in many poor writings, but they said the same thing: thank you. You reminded us we belong. Pippa pressed the notes to her chest, her fur warming with joy. The forest around her seemed to glow brighter, every leaf, every star, every firefly whispering in agreement. She looked at all her friends gathered nearby, Luma the squirrel, Ollie the hedgehog, Bram the badger, Tilly the duck, Pip the mouse, the fawn, the owls, the fox twins, and she realized that the package had done more than spread smiles. It had woven them together like threads in one blanket of friendship. That night, the animals gathered in the meadow under the soft glow of the moon. They passed the seashell bell around, each one giving it a gentle shake. Its sound echoed across the forest like a song, soft and sweet. Pippa curled her paws around the little box once more, her heart steady and full. The fireflies floated above them like lanterns, the bamboo rustled like applause, and the whole forest seemed to sigh in peace. And so the night whispered, wrapping every creature close, you are safe. You are warm. You are loved. You are ready for the sweetest dreams tonight. Pippa hugged the kindness package tight, her eyes drifting closed, and all around her, the forest family rested too, hearts lighter, spirits brighter, kindness flowing like an endless lullaby.